Don't try to sneak into your room like that. I know what you've got behind your back. Records. More new records.
Here I am again at the Audio Salon in Santa Monica, California, where Maier Shadi is going to be holding a 2-day event to introduce the new TechDAS Air Force 10 air-bearing pivoted tonearm. And I want to show you what goes on here to hold an event like this. First, there's food and wine, and lots of food, and inside everybody's eating. So we're going to show everybody eating. All of the people that will be speaking are getting all of their greasy fingers all over the records. These are the TechDAS gentlemen. These are the instigators of all the air-bearing designs. And over here we have some records being cavitated on the KL audio machine. And we'll leave these people to eat in peace. And there's Maier, the proprietor.
Hello.
He's saying hello. And here we are in the big room. This is the big room. And so he is now bringing in these Halcro. These amplifiers will look very familiar to some of you, and to some of you probably not, but it's a company that made a big splash at least a decade or two ago, and they're back with new ownership and new products, but with a familiar look to anybody who knows these amplifiers. And so they're going to have one of these air-bearing tone arms on this turntable, because the one that's going to be playing is pretty much up high here. And this is the air-bearing right here. It's not moving now because it's not populated with any air, but when the air is in there, this thing is free to spin, and that's the horizontal movement of the arm, and that is where the air bearing is applied. So here's the arm. It's quite a piece of work, and I know this is going to sound self-serving, but I actually had some input on this product. So the air bearing is what moves the arm in the horizontal direction. And so my question when I saw this in Munich was, what happens if the air supply gets cut off and there's no more bearing and the thing just freezes? What happens to the cartridge? Can't be anything good. And they hadn't considered that. And this is something that usually reviewers tend to think about these things, because everybody who reviews this gear and has done it for a long time has been involved in some disaster of one kind or another. And so what do you do? So now what they've come up with is a really interesting part of the design. So back here, this is the cueing lever, and the cueing lever does not work in the usual hydraulic way. It's actually vacuum actuated, and so that's how you raise and lower the arm. And should there be a fault in the pump or the power goes off, the vacuum actuates and lifts the arm up off the record to prevent any kind of damage to the cartridge or anything else. So that was a great innovation on their part, and I'm not sending them a bill for my great question. I'm not. I should, but I won't. And that's it. And so this is the pump that's associated with the arm, and it's actually proximity sensitive. So when you walk up to it, it turns it on, and if you're not around it for a half an hour or so, I think it stays on for an hour, and then it will turn off. I'm just getting all the details myself. And here's the rest of the rack. And there is a big collection of records that Mr. Shadi got from a woman whose her husband passed away. Is that what happened?
Correct.
And
they were a customer of ours, and
it was a customer of his, and she wanted you to keep the collection
together. Yeah, that was the idea.
That's nice. And you gave her $1 for this whole collection, right?
Multiples of that.
No, Maier would never take advantage of somebody like that. I know him well enough.
There's no card in it?
So last night when I got here yesterday, and I was telling Maier that when you consider who's going to be here today, which includes 3 gentlemen from TechDAS who are in there having their lunch, and Peter McGrath from Wilson, and myself, and Jacob Heilbrunn and John Quick. You've got who else is going to be here?
The team from Vienna,
Right.
Vienna, Austria.
Supersense.
Doc, Supersense.
And you end up with a group of people here who you have to go to Munich to get that concentration of high performance audio power people. I would say I'm not counting myself as among them, but because I'm being self-deprecating, sort of. All right, Maier, tell me about this box and what it is and who gets it and why don't I get one?
So we met Doc from Supersense a few years back and started this project. We wanted to make 10 sets of the out of print, let's say, lacquers that they had developed and sold out of. And so I went to Vienna, we collaborated, talked for quite a long time, and we received this box set that we developed together.
This is a leather-clad box?
Yes.
And made in America?
The box was the second part of the project. The first part of the project was getting these lacquers and getting this case done and choosing all the finishes and interior artwork and what to say about this project. One really neat thing about this is what had never been released before on Lacquer was a single of The Girl from Ipanema, which is this red one here. And then the rest are
jazz and classical, and
yes.
Yeah. And the one that Gregory Porter actually cut at the store.
At the store,
Yeah,
yes.
I've got a copy of that. It's very good.
So when we received this, we were going to start shipping in standard packaging, and I just wasn't comfortable with the boxes and everything that were available. So I set on this quest to find the perfect box. What I wanted did not exist. So I found this amazing artist in Alabama, and together we collaborated over several renditions of this box, and we fashioned it after the Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Gullwing luggage that existed back then. And so that was the inspiration. This is all handmade. All these tacks are done by hand. All this leather work, all the canvas was chosen by us. It's got a leather handle. There were only 10 of these made. Wow. One of our customers actually wanted 2 of them, and we had someone that had begged for the 9th copy. And since he decided that he didn't want to wait any longer, we've now relinquished it back to the customer that wanted 2. Oh. But we just shipped the very first one this week, which is really cool.
Oh, what a great, and this is a present from you to your good customer?
It's something that is available for our customers to purchase, but it is, with the amount of time and effort that we put into this project, it's something we'll take a huge loss on by developing and producing it, but it's done with love to the people that have, for the people that have supported our store. The very first customer just received his, and myself, Peter McGrath, and you got to see his response. He was so overjoyed. He called it, I think he called it the mother lode of all lacquers, and it's just so great to be associated with a group of people that care this much about quality. And so I wanted to have a case that was worthy of that project. Okay, we'll get started and welcome everybody. This is an event that we had hoped to do a lot sooner. In 2019, after we did the premiere of the Air Force Zero here, it was our plan with Nishikawa-san, may rest in peace, to do several more events over the next year and a half, and unfortunately that didn't come to pass, even though we kept in touch. And over that time we became the US distributor, and our relationship only grew, and we placed a number of Air Force Zeros within the country. it was up to us with the training that he had given us to build them up and service them and help people enjoy them, which some are in the room, and we thank you for your support. We really miss his guidance. We're here today to enjoy a project that he started, the Air Force 10 project, and he oversaw with this wonderful team that's now here to support us and carry things forward. Motofumi is a colleague that we've worked with close to 10 years now, and Hajime has been working on the engineering team for quite a long time, and Tsutomu-san has taken the helm to oversee the Stella group and make sure that we have all the product, the service, the support that we need. And they've come through in unique ways over and over again through the pandemic, and even in times when there were heavy back orders. And we really thank them for their incredible support. They are among the best partners anyone could ask for. Even though they're a newer company, they're right up there with the ultimate partner, which is Wilson Audio, which we're also presenting with today. And we welcome Peter McGrath, who is the person that shepherded me into the Wilson family. And we have people from all over the world and all over the country today, from Texas and Maryland and all over. So thank you all for coming. I will hand it over to Motofumi-san, and they will give you some technical description of the project and play some music. And then we'll take a short break. And then from there, we will hear from Peter McGrath and Michael Fremer, and then our friends that have flown in from Austria to present SuperSense, the Lacquer project that we're super fond of.
He's the CEO of Stella Group and wanted to say thank you in Japanese. He thanks you, all of you, joining us today. And so today we are going to do the launching of the TechDAS Air Force 10 Tonearm. It is a floating air-bearing tonearm, and he hopes you will enjoy this event. So today we are going to, give you some information, talk about the Tonearm, and then play some music and talk a bit and play some music. The founder of the brand TechDAS is the late Hideaki Nishikawa. It was sad that he passed away in June last year. And this is his design. The Tonearm is his design. Unfortunately, he didn't have a chance to listen to the sound of the completed product.
昨日の夜に設置して音を聞いたんですけれども、その音をもし西川が聞いてたらこれでいいよと言ってくれてるんじゃないかと思っております。
And yesterday we set up this Tonearm here, and we listened to the sound in this wonderful system, and he is sure that Hideaki Nishikawa will be happy and will be very pleased about the sound.
私は入社以来30年西川と一緒に過ごしてまいりまして、今後もテクダスの基本ポリシーはぶれずに進めていこうと思っております。
And he has been working with Hideaki Nishikawa for 30 years since he joined the Stella group. And well, he and all of our team learned a lot from Hideaki Nishikawa, his policy, his know-hows, and his philosophy, and we will keep on going based on what we learned from Hideaki Nishikawa.
実はですね、今日この場で新製品がもう1個ありまして、ダイヤモンドカンチレバーの MC カートリッジ、これはこちらがワールドプレミアということで持ってきまして、今日評価をいただければ来週帰国して発表しようと思っておりますので、ぜひ高評価の方お願いいたします。
Well, today is the launch of the TechDAS Tonearm, but actually we have another brand new product here. It is our new cartridge, TDC01 DIA. It has a diamond cantilever. So this is the world premiere of this new cartridge. No one has heard this. No, we did, this is the very first time for us to do the demonstration of this new cartridge. And we hope you will accept it. And if you are happy, we will go back to Japan and introduce it to the Japanese market as well.
Just a brief interruption, esteemed viewers. I'm Tom Martin, Chief Content Officer of the Absolute Sound. I'd like to invite you to subscribe to the Absolute Sound magazine, which we've been publishing for over 50 years. For $20 per year in print or $10 per year in digital magazine format, you get 11 issues, each with around 100 pages of exclusive equipment reviews, music reviews, and buyer's guides. You also get early access to our 3 awards issues: Editor's Choice, Products of the Year, and Golden Ear. To subscribe, enter this URL in your browser or go to theabsolutesound.com and click on the subscribe button. Thanks, and now back to the show.
このまま通訳をしてますと明日になっちゃうので、元文の方にデモンストレーションバトンタッチして進めたいと思います。どうぞお楽しみください。
So he would like to keep on talking, but if we do the talking in Japanese, English translation, it will take so much time. So he will leave it to me, and I will continue to do the presentation. And he hopes you will enjoy. あとはマイヤーさんたちへのお礼とかですね。
あと最後にこの素晴らしい企画をしていただいたオーディオサロンのマイヤーさん、それとこの最高のシステムを準備していただいたスタッフの皆様にこの場をお借りして感謝申します。ありがとうございます。
And he would like to thank Maier for this event and for the audio sound team for all the hard work to make this happen. Thank you so much. And our approach is to use the air technologies. One of the air technologies is the air suspension. As for this Air Force Zero, the main unit is there are 4 suspensions, and the main unit weighs 350 kilograms, and 250 kilograms are, well, floating on the 4 suspension feet. And another air technology is the air bearing. The platters are floating on a thin layer of air. There are 5 layers of platters, and the total weight is more than 120 kilograms. So the 120 kilograms platters are floating on a thin layer of air. And the other air technology is the vacuum hold down. You put the vinyl, the disc on the platter, and it will be vacuumed. So the platters and the disc will become a one piece, a solid block. So the platter will be totally flat, and the rotation will be very precise and smooth. And in Zero, even the motor is floating on the air. And now we have this new Tonearm, and we call it Air Force 10. The model has the name Air Force because it has the air bearing. The vertical bearing is by tungsten pivot and ceramic ball, but the horizontal bearing is air bearing. And so the main body is floating on maybe 15 micrometers, a thin layer of air. And that makes the movement of the Tonearm precise and smooth because there is no friction. We'll explain more about that later. Maybe we will play some music now. The main body. This is the airfloat base, quite heavy. And when you see on the top there are orifices. So the air comes from the air pump unit to here, and it is divided, the airflow is divided into and comes out from these small orifices. And
How
this
many
is
holes are there on the front?
3 by 18 holes.
Symmetrically arranged.
Yes, it's like this.
Absolutely symmetrically, yeah.
0.5 millimeter.
And here, this is what we call this the air floater. It comes on here, and then what happens is this will float, and we can show. We'll connect this to the. And now it turns very easily and smoothly. And now it doesn't.
That's how many holes it takes to fill the Albert Hall, by the way, just a coincidence.
Maybe you might like to.
And the empty spaces in the library.
We can hand it to. So it's
Pretty
the
impressive.
base is stainless, and the floater is made of tungsten.
And the arm itself?
And the arm itself, yes, the pipe,
Yeah.
yes. Well, we can.
Oh, you
will
can.
be-
Okay. It's heavy. Beware. I was.
It's also good on nose hairs.
There's a close-up for you.
ready for it to go
How
outside.
do we get this?
It's incredible.
Nice.
Don't
Got
do
it.
anything, don't do it.
So they are important parts for a Tonearm. So we carefully selected the materials, and the arm wand and head shell of Air Force 10 have they have two layers of materials. The outside is magnesium alloy with DLC coating, and the inner layer inside, it is carbon fiber reinforced plastic.
Carbon fiber.
So CFRP is the inner layer. These materials were selected for the best damping effect. So if you touch it, it doesn't ring, and it is very. Maybe you can. Could you maybe hand it? Hi. And also inside the pipe is also.
And then stainless at the very end, the silver part is stainless.
端のシルバーのところはステンレスですか？
マグネシウムです。
Magnesium.
Oh, that's
Yes.
It's inert.
Yes, we are using crystal cable, the brand Crystal Cables internal wiring.
Silver?
It is silver. 今使ってるのはシルバーですよね。
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yes. Here, there's the tracking force adjustment. It is a dynamic balance and spring pressure tracking force adjustment. And here, this is the VTA adjustment on the bottom. It is a helicoid knob, so you can slide it. So it makes it easier to do fine adjustment of the VTA. And the inside force canceller is over here. This is spring pressure as well. And for the tracking force adjustment, you can adjust it while you play. And some details about this arm lifter. When you look at the back side of the lifter, you will see air tubes. And the air tube is connected to this air pump unit. The pumps we use, they can flow air and also vacuum the air. They can do both. So we were wondering if there is any way we can use the vacuum function for the Tonearm, and we made this vacuum force arm lift system. This arm lifter moves by spring, and the vacuum air force. And one good thing is that if there is some kind of power outage, power failure, and then the power stops, that means that the pump will stop vacuuming the air. And as a result, the arm lifter will automatically rise with the spring force.
So it's a smart Tonearm.
So yes, you don't have to worry about the cartridge sitting on the disc forever. So I think this will be the last track we play in our presentation, the live recording of the Eagles.
Before we break, I really want to take a moment to have Attila, Briggy, and Stevie come forward. They're the team that make this place work and have been to many of your homes and made these projects all happen for you. So it really, it's an honor to work with them every day and have them look after everybody. We've become a family, and they're just amazing folks to work with every day. So please come up and... Thank you for all that you do.
Well, what's very interesting about 2024 is the fact that we're now in our 50th year of doing what Wilson Audio does. And I'll bore you with a little bit of history, my personal history combined with David Wilson's history. And frankly, I owe many things to vinyl. I mean, truthfully, this is 1972. I was a graduate student in Chicago, working in a hi-fi shop at night, studying photography, getting my MFA in photography, and a fellow walks into the store with his beautiful wife with a stack of, God forbid, LPs under his arm, shopping for allegedly a preamplifier. So we listened to a whole bunch of the ones that were available at the time, and from the Quad, Lexon, Sugden, a bunch. I was working at a very experimental high-end shop before high-end was even really defined as high-end. This is very, very early in the day. And the owners of the shop, actually they taught me quite a bit. Not so much about audio, but about music. I've had this discussion with you, Mark. You know, their curriculum for me to learn about audio was second row balcony orchestra hall. And if I didn't come back with stamp tickets, I was out of work. It was pretty strict. So, and that was a good basis of learning, and I've adhered to that ever since. But anyway, he listened for a while, and he wound up picking it was an Audio Research SP3, I think, which was at the time. And he asked those magic words, "Do you have one in stock?" And I said yes, and he took it. 3 weeks later go by. At night, I'm working in the shop, and I see on the front window, he's carrying it into the store. No box, just the preamp. Walks in the front of the door, and first words out of his mouth were, no, Peter, it's not what you think." You know, because as a salesman, when you see a client bringing something back in, that's usually not good. That's not good news. So, so he puts it on the counter. He takes the lid off, and well, it's not the same inside. All kinds of things had been done inside, where the components for the RIAA on the motherboard had all been removed, and he instead replaced it with a card holder. And he reached into his pocket and put a card in. Now it's the preamp you sold me, complete with RIAA curve. 60 dB of gain, which is what I was really looking to buy. Then he'd take the card out, put another card in, which bypassed the RIAA, and that gave you 60 dB of gain with no equalization. At which point he had said, "Peter, I misled you. I was really not looking for a phono preamp. I'm starting a recording company. And I've tried all of the professional mic preamps that are out there, and they all have their strengths and their weaknesses, but I thought, why not go and find the best darn phono preamp that could be made, remove the RIAA, and use it as the gain stage for microphones, which is approximately what a cartridge requires." And he did that. And he said, "The reason I'm doing it is I'm starting a recording company." And that recording company was Wilson Audio Specialties. And that was David Wilson. So I met him and worked with him before he even started Wilson Audio, before he even built his first loudspeaker. And as a young graduate student, I thought, this is someone I want to know. I love the way he thought out of the box. And that same kind of ingenious, intuitive thinking, not solving problems in the classical way, but thinking outside of the box. He went on to establish himself as an audio reviewer, a recording engineer, and a speaker designer. And he retained that skill. And of course, he had a young apprentice working with him from the age of 5, and that's a fellow by the name of Daryl Wilson, who now runs the company today. So that's how we've been able to go. Even though we lost my dearest friend a number of years ago, I have another wonderful friend today, in Daryl, who's carrying on the tradition. And as I'm reaching, obviously at my age, I'm reaching kind of the end of my career, the last 25 years of which I've spent at Wilson Audio. I will be going forward with tremendous pride that this company that I've labored with and loved with and has provided the livelihood by which I think I've thrived, will continue on long after I've gone. And thanks to Daryl and the team that we've built there. And as many of you know, those of you who have bought things, you've been involved with things of the highest quality, you recognize it. It's not so much the product that is really relevant. What's relevant is the spirit, the team that went into its creation, and the resulting product. And then the collaboration that that team has with people like that fellow back in the corner. Without him, we're nowhere. And a few more. I wish we had 20 more Maiers in the world, but we're grateful that I have this one. So in a way, I'm giving you kind of a gestalt of my feelings. It's more emotional, I'm not going to tell you. Except that in the 50th year, there are a lot of very exciting things. I'm not at liberty to talk too much about them, but there's some very, very exciting things. Daryl is not going to go the calendar year that marks our half century of existence without significant notice. So there will be things that will be coming in the second or possibly the third quarter of this year that will be extremely exciting. And more to come later. Things that I think will widen our wings and expand our wings to a wider range of people and potential. So this is carrying on in the same tradition that the previous half century have allowed us to do. So that's kind of where we are. I could talk, oh, by the way, one of the reasons I'm still working well past retirement age is that I made the horrible mistake years ago of setting up a pair of these when they were first debuted in our dealer in New York, and my wife came along with me, and I was playing the setup tracks that I use, all of which she's heard maybe 1,000 times with the various loudspeakers that I've had in my home, and I've had virtually every Wilson speaker ever made in the past. And she listened to it as I went through it, and by the time I got to the third or fourth track, she leans over and says, "You've got to get these. I know you. You'll never be happy." So that's why I wound up, but they're expensive, even to me. So I had to continue working to acquire them. And it's probably the smartest move I did, because I bought them just before COVID, just before the curtain came down. And they provided an infinite release and pleasure. And as remarking, I think to you, Mikey, earlier, that last night I made a recording, and it was of a solo pianist, Zlata Kocheva, and I think I nailed it. But what really impressed me the most was I pull the card out of the recorder, pop it into my computer, and then play it back on the system. And these speakers simply don't fail to startle you. They just don't stop doing that. The better the recording, the more that startle factor is. And the less good a recording is, the more you find there's beauty in them. And that's not only true of the XVX, that sort of concept carries its way down through the line of the products. Anyway, I won't talk anymore, but in conformity with the request of my indulging in vinyl, there's a track. The other day I was surfing on the, I think it was Qobuz. There's a British folk singer by the name of Sam Lee. Carrie, do you know that name at all? Do you know? he's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy can have 3 different shades within one word, you know.
He played at the little.
I mentioned it to Maier, and as we said before, it's on the cooking vinyl label, and I expected the worst, frankly, when Maier played the LP, but damn it, I might have to buy one of these things.
Or come to Encore and listen to them live.
There you go. So let's without further ado, we're going to play the vinyl version of the streaming file that I heard on my XVX.